this is Bagel Books. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna do more of a, I don't want to say a sad video, but kind of. I saw a YouTuber named Megan from Meg with Books do some pretty similar to this. Hers was called Books That Will Self-Destruct. And I want to say it was like before her next birthday. She had to read these certain books before her birthday or she had to get rid of them. So I'm going to do something very similar where I have to read these books this year in 2023 before 2024, or I have to get rid of these books because I've had them, most of them, for way too long and I need to read them. So I'm hoping this will inspire me to read them. Not force. Inspire. The first book I have is Chevy Stevens' That Night. I bought this a long time ago. I want to say 2015. I know. 2015. I've had this book 7, 8 years. Who knows? I don't know what it's about other than, wow, there's a face in it. I've never noticed that. Can you even, wow. Okay, there's a creepy little face in here. I don't know anything about it other than it's a thriller and that it's by Chevy Stevens, whom I've heard of, but I've never read any of her books, so maybe I'll love her. And this book that came out, apparently never. 2014. Yep. 2014, very old. I've never heard anything about, like, anyone talk about it. Never heard anything about it. I don't know anything about it. I need to read it or I need to get rid of it because I've had it way too long. Okay, the next one I've talked about before and I need to read it. Gone Girl. We all know what this is about. We've seen the movie. Girl goes missing. Husband is the person they think did it because it's always the husband. Thriller. OG. Gosh, these are tiny words. This was like, not the first thriller, but I mean, I would say this is when thrillers became super popular. I don't know, maybe just like in my life, this, like when this came out in the movie, this was like the OG. This book was the OG. I only hear good things about it. Nothing bad. So I need to read it and I love this author. But I watched the movie, so I know what happens, so it's kind of kept me from reading it, but I know the book's gonna be different. I know that. Nobody tell me that. I know that. But, I mean, I know the big twist, so I don't know. But I need to read it. And if I'm not gonna get rid of it, let's be honest. But I need to read it. I need to read it this year. I must. This one is by Lisa Jewell. Never read anything about her either, but she's a pretty popular thriller author on YouTube that I've heard of. Then She Was Gone. I don't think this one's huge. Like the size of this book, just like, not like the pages, just the size. It's kind of insane. Like this is a mass market paperback, right? Look how big this book is. It's just like long. Okay. That was a spoiler, by the way. That's another book. We won't pay attention to it. But I don't think this is her first book ever, but definitely not. Nope. No, definitely not. But this is the first one I got. Probably the first one I really like started hearing about this author on YouTube. But a friend of mine, I think she read this one. I can't remember if it was this one or another Lisa Jewell, but she was like, Baylee, you should read this book. Like, I think you'd really like it. And I was like, I have that book. I need to read it. And I don't think I've had it that long. I got it at a used bookstore, so it looks older, so it might be old, but it hasn't been on my shelf that long. If I didn't get it last year, I got it in 2020, which, I mean, is still far too long to not have read it, but that's why it's on here. Another one, probably bought it in 2020. This is a very popular thriller. Most of these are thrillers. I apologize. It's what I like. Sue me. And I just haven't read them. I'm like, oh my god, people talk about this, and I buy them. And then I don't. I mean, I read them, but I can't read as fast as I consume. Or I can't consume as fast as I purchase. Maybe. Okay, whatever. This is Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. Very popular. Very popular. Like, people who talk about their favorite thrillers ever, I feel like so many people talk about this book. It's just always brought up. There is no... Oh, maybe that is the description. I thought these were reviews on the back. I was like, there's no description. But I don't like reading thriller descriptions, sorry. But it's The Perfect Marriage or The Perfect Lie. Ooh, I'm pretty sure there's abuse in here, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've heard, but sounds like a domestic thriller, classic, but everyone talks about it, so I need to read it this year. That's the goal. Okay, I tried to do other things other than thrillers. I was like looking at my shelves and I'm like, what can I put on here? Sorry, my elbow itch. I was like, what can I put on here that's not a thriller, for crying out loud? This one is called Cold Storage by David Koepp? I don't know. Koepp? I bought this one for Joe, technically, but he hasn't read it either, so guess what? I'm gonna get rid of it if I want. This one is kind of like a sci-fi situation, and guys, I probably saw this when I bought it, but I forgot, and I just saw it again. Blake Crouch, motherfucker. It says, Blake Crouch said it was terrifying and hilarious. Sheer thrillery goodness. Damn it, it's a thriller. And righteously entertaining. Well, I thought it wasn't a thriller. Maybe it's like a sci-fi thriller. So this man, David Koepp, is the screenwriter for Jurassic Park, Spider-Man, and War of the Worlds. So, it says, this is about 3 strangers who must work together to contain a highly contagious, deadly organism. This is like a biochemical attack. A highly mutative organism capable of extinction-level destruction. Interesting. So yeah, like a sci-fi thriller. Kind of reminds me of COVID now, unfortunate. But came out before that. Oh, it came out in 2019. Little David Koepp here. Told the future. Little did you know. But, yes. Oh, there's more that Blake Crouch wrote. It says, to be simultaneously terrifying and hilarious is a masterstroke few writers can pull off, but Koepp manages in this incredible fiction debut that calls to mind a beautiful hybrid of Michael Crichton and Carl Hyacin. Hyacin? I don't know. Cold Storage is sheer thrillery goodness and righteously entertaining. Very excited because it sounds like it's a sci-fi thriller, like Blake Crouch writes, and I love Blake Crouch. Obviously, you know that already. Man, this book's big. I've had it for my elbow really itches. I've had this book for so freaking long. Maybe 2018, 2019. I don't know, and it's a chunker. It is called A Life After Life by Kate Atkinson. Whoa. This is, so I read, what was it? Oh, the Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle a long time ago, and it was suggested by, her name's Emily. I don't know her last name. Her name is Emily on YouTube. She read that book, raved about it, which is why I picked it up and bought it. And I'm pretty sure it has like time jumping into other people's bodies stuff. And so she and other people I've seen later have recommended this book, if you like that book, Life After Life, because it is, I'm pretty sure, about a woman. What if you could live again and again until you got it right? So I'm pretty sure it's about a woman, like every time she lives, she comes back to life. I don't know if she remembers her other lives. It says, on a cold and snowy night in 1910, Ursula Todd is born, the 3rd child of a wealthy English banker and his wife. She dies before she can draw her first breath. On that same cold and snowy night, Ursula Todd is born, let out a lusty wail, and embarks upon a life that will be, to say the least, unusual. For as she grows, she also dies, repeatedly, in any number of ways. Ursula's world is in turmoil, and she faces the unspeakable evil of the greatest war in history. What power and force can one woman exert over the fate of civilization if only she has the chance? So it's like a historical fiction sci-fi-y because she dies and comes back to life constantly. God, how big is this book? Big. That's all I got. Oh, that's the acknowledgments, people. I don't want to read it. No page numbers on this thing? 528, people. So I'm giving myself a year to read these because this guy's huge. And then the last one. I don't even know how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Uneven. Sorry. Sorry about that. Now this one, I know I bought it for this reason. And I didn't realize 2 of the books on this list had this. I apologize. Also blurb by Blake Crouch. I have a problem. It says, I promise you, you have never read a story like this. Blake Crouch said that. Tom Swterlitsch. The Gone World. I've had this for a long time for the sole reason that I saw that Blake Crouch thing on it. He wrote a lot more than that's on the front page. Once again, very generous man. This one says, she had been warned she would see things her mind wouldn't understand. Special Agent Sharon Moss is assigned to solve the murder of a Navy SEAL's family and to locate his vanishing teenage daughter. Though she can't share the information with conventional law enforcement, Moss discovers that the missing SEAL was an astronaut aboard the spaceship USS Libra, a secret ship commissioned by the U.S. government, now assumed lost to the darkest currents of deep time. It sounds like it's going to mindfuck me. Moss knows firsthand the trauma of time travel, Lord, and believes the SEAL's experience with the future has triggered this violence. Determined to find the missing girl and driven by a troubled connection from her own past, Moss travels ahead in time to explore possible versions of the future, seeking evidence or insight that will crack the present-day case. To her horror, the future reveals that much more than the fate of a family hinges on her work. What she witnesses rising over time's horizon and hurtling toward the present is the terminus, the terrifying and cataclysmic end of humanity itself. Good. Luminous and unsettling, The Gone World bristles with world-shattering ideas, yet remains at its heart an intensely human story. Sounds fantastic, but may confuse the crap out of me. But it definitely gives Blake Crouch sci-fi thriller vibes, so very excited. Very excited for this one. I've been excited. I don't know why I just don't read it. Like, I'm the worst. Like, all these books, I'm so excited to read, and then I don't do them because I don't know. But these are the books I must read in 2023, or I must get rid of them. We'll see if I actually do that. But that is the goal here, is to read these this year, because they've been on my shelf far too long for me not having to read them. Have you read any of these books? That is question number 1. Are there any books on your shelf that have been on your shelf for a million years that you need to read? You should read them this year with me. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.